Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. And today I'll share with you my personal experience of trying to open a Central Bank of Kenya CDS account. So you may ask yourself, what is a CDS account? A CDS account is like, for example, if you want to invest in Kenyan listed companies with the Nairobi stock in the Nairobi stock market, then you need a CDS. You need to open a CDS account. But with the Central Bank of Kenya CDS account, it's a different one because it is opened through the Central Bank of Kenya. I think that's the simple meaning of a Central Bank of Kenya CDS account. It's not the ordinary account that you use to invest in other listed companies. It is particularly for investing in the Kenyan government, treasury bonds and bills through the central bank. I hope I've made it clearer. So before you open a Central Bank of Kenya CDS account from Diaspora, you will need the following. As a Kenyan living in the diaspora, you'll need the following documents to open a CDS Central Bank Diaspora account. A copy of your identity card, your KRA PIN, passport size photo, completed CDS application form, otherwise known as the mandate form, email indemnity form from Central Bank of Kenya, an extra envelope to the Central Bank of Kenya, scanned completed application. You'll then need to scan your completed application form and email them to the CBK. Finally, you'll have to forward all the copies of your original documents to your Kenyan bank alongside your completed email indemnity form. So for a long time now, I've always wanted to open Central Bank of Kenya CDS account way back while I was still in Kenya up to this moment in time. So last week on the 13th, just a day before Valentine's, I did send my application forms that had been sent to me by the Central Bank of Kenya. I'd emailed them on several occasions just to send me these forms because for some reason at that time I couldn't find this specific form, the mandate form, which is rather the application form for people in diaspora wishing to open a CDS account. The link was there on the website, but I just couldn't open it. So Central Bank of Kenya, they were very quick to respond to my email. So they did send me the forms, all the forms that I needed. And once I printed them out, then I sent them back through my local bank in Kenya, who will then send them to the Central Bank of Kenya. For the sake of clarity, the forms that you send to your bank in Kenya, it's for the purposes of them verifying your identity so that they can prove to the Central Bank of Kenya that you are actually the person that you're claiming to be. Since you opened an account with them, you presented all your documents to show who you really are. So I think that is why Central Bank insists that when you're abroad, you actually have to present your forms to your bank so that they can authenticate your identity. Yeah, so that's basically it. I'm not quite sure if you can send the application form, the mandate card, to your friends and family back in Kenya so that they can maybe forward it to your Kenyan bank. That much I'm not sure. So for me, I just decided to send my forms, all my application forms to my bank in Kenya so that they can ultimately send them to the Central Bank of Kenya. I just wanted to make that clear. So after you've filled out the forms and sent them to your local bank in Kenya, which as I said before I did, you will then have to wait for your Kenyan bank to forward the forms to the Central Bank of Kenya. So up to this point, I'm still waiting. I've chased it up with my local bank to see if they have forwarded my documents to the central bank, but unfortunately, I've not received any feedback from my Kenyan bank. But hopefully, this will be sorted out sooner rather than later. So in, it's not just a matter of investing in treasury bonds and bills. Personally, I'm making an investment. Then, and also I am trying to help build the Kenyan economy. You might remember President William Ruto saying just this year that his government will not be going to China anymore to ask for loans, but rather the Ruto government will be coming to Kenyans to ask them to invest and to build the great Kenyan economy. So as a person, I'm only trying to do my bit, the much I can, so that at least my investment might help me when I go back to Kenya. I might use that money and also for my pension pot. So having said that, I think you'll also agree with me that the Kenyans living in the diaspora sent a lot of money back home in foreign currencies, otherwise also known as remittances, to the tune of 4.027 billion US dollars, almost 500 billion, I think it is, in Kenya shillings, which is way far more than any other source of revenue that the Kenyan government receives. It's even more than our tea, it's more than horticultural, it's more than what we get in tourism. So I think I just want to encourage Kenyans, maybe in the diaspora and at home as well, to invest. After all, it's often said that investing in treasury bonds and bills in Kenya in particular is a risk-free investment. So I'm really waiting to see how far I'll get with this. I've never tried it before, never done it before, and I hope it will be a success. So apart from that, there are some challenges that as a Kenyan living in the diaspora, it is not a straightforward process, I must say. And these are just some of the challenges that I came through while I was as I'm trying to open a Central Bank of Kenya CDS account. So these are basically the challenges that I encountered while trying to open a CBK CDS account from diaspora. First of all, it's costly, and the whole process is costly, especially when it comes to using a courier of your choice. It's time consuming. The whole process is just, it takes too much time. It is also too much paperwork to some people. It's inconvenient. It can be uncertain as well to some people. It is also equally overwhelming. Yeah, and this can even drain you out, to be honest. And having encountered all the challenges that I did in trying to open a CDS account, there's a glimmer of hope, because just the other day on social media, there was this video clip, I believe it was from NTV Kenya, showing the governor of Central Bank, Dr. Patrick Njoroge, saying that they're coming up with a plan, a central bank, so that it will be much easier for Kenyans living in the diaspora to invest back home easily, as compared to the situation right now where you've got to fill in a little bit of paperwork. So I'm really waiting to see how this will pan out. So personally, I find it a little bit inconveniencing, going by the challenges that I've encountered in this process of trying to open a CDS account. You might as well try for yourself to find out. You might be lucky, much luckier than myself. But it's something that I'm really interested to know how far I will go with this. And I would ask many Kenyans in the diaspora and back at home to also try to do the same. And by the way, what happened to Emakiba? For those who don't know about Emakiba, it's a type of investment in the treasury bonds and bills that was rolled out by the government. Was it 5 years ago? It could be more than that, it could be less than that, give or take. I can't remember when it was for sure. And many Kenyans invested in the project. They bought the project. They bought the project and invested in it. And the minimum amount was 3,000 Kenya shillings, which was affordable for many Kenyans. I know things have changed a lot now, but after it was rolled out, people invested in it, and it's really not known as to when the government will roll out phase 2. And honestly speaking, I think it was a good idea. You didn't have to have a bank account. Your money was paid out to you via M-Pesa. And nobody is talking much about this, but for me, I think the government needs to maybe roll out a similar project, if not the same. And they also need to tell Kenyans whether it was a profit or a loss on the part of the government. I know I've heard from many Kenyans that they really benefited from it. So yeah, government of Kenya under President Ruto, please, will you bring Emakiba back? Thank you very much for watching my channel. I hope you'll get to subscribe so that at least I can get to post more videos. And please tune in next time, because I'll be talking about trying to open Kenyan bank accounts from diaspora. Thank you.